What's up, guys? Today I want to talk about leadership. And there's many realms of leadership. When you look at life, raising kids, we're always talking about leaders, being leaders in their community, leaders on their teams, leadership in school, and leadership for themselves. So when you think of the word leadership, what do you think of? Because sometimes people will tell me, well, I'm really not a natural leader. There's different layers of leaders. You don't have to be the person in the front of the room, the head of the team, running the meeting. But you can be a person who just does things right, works hard, leads by example, which sometimes I think are the best leaders. Some leaders are just the ones with the loudest mouth, which isn't sustainable. And if I look at my profession over the years of chiropractic, it's usually the most successful in practice start getting out in the forefront as leaders, or they show up to meetings for a while and they naturally step into a leadership position. And I find that the best leaders are the ones that integrate other people to help them. As I get involved and get prepared for my meetings and things I have to do, I realize I have a lot of weaknesses. So I've learned to surround myself with people who can utilize their strengths to offset my weaknesses. The same thing goes with parenting and raising children and just dealing with yourself on a day in, day out basis. Sometimes people have to constantly be motivated to just get through a day instead of developing a system in their life through leadership and guidelines and guardrails for themselves that set aside principles that helps them make decisions. If someone says, hey, you want to have a cigarette? It's not an option for me. It's a no before the sentence is even finished. I got to go to a meeting in Vegas in a couple of weeks, and patients are asking me, are you going to gamble? The answer is no. It's not part of who I am. One of my major premises in life is I don't gamble. I work hard for my money. I'd rather invest it in my kids, invest in experiences, invest in life. It's just not who I am. I don't judge people who gamble. I know people who win a lot of money, and they talk about how much money they win gambling, but I also know they've lost a hell of a lot of money doing it. It's just not part of who I am. It doesn't make me feel good about myself. It's not what I do. But as I prep to go through, I've got several meetings coming up, and I'm sitting here and I research, and you prep for the moment you're going to show up, and you want to be confident to lead, to guide people toward an outcome is what leaders do. If you're the leader of the pack, you're out there in front, you're paving the way, and you know what? You got to realize you're going to make mistakes, and perhaps there's a better way. And when we look at our own lives and realize mistakes we make in our own life is just you're showing yourself it's a way not to do something. And you just carry on and you go do it a different way. Or you find people, we call it proximity, who do things better or who have been there and who have guided you and that can show you a way to do it that saves you time and energy and gets you the results faster. That's one of the great things about having amazing people around you, especially if they're ahead of you in the game. They could show you how to get better results quicker because the odds are they've made mistakes and they're going to tell you how to avoid those mistakes. So you get close to those people and you be humble. A humble leader is a great leader. A humble leader is willing to ask questions or say, I need help. And when you're able to do that, it's going to help you get greater results, attract better people around you, and get better outcomes. And then the leader is able to step back and say, let's create a vision of what we want to do as an organization, as a family. A family is an organization. It doesn't have to be a business per se or a national organization. It could be just your own family. And what do we want to, I look at my kids now and I realize the decisions that we've made as parents years ago are showing up now in the kids as they're becoming young adults. And it's amazing to watch, but it took solid leadership, a team to do it. So you got to set rules up for yourself. There's this thing called Robert's Rules of Order that organizes you on how to run a meeting, a professional meeting, and it's something that's very new to people when they get involved in organizations. But when you learn it, you're realizing it's just creating a guideline so people aren't off course and meetings aren't taking endless hours and nothing's get it done. It's guiding you towards an outcome. What is the ultimate outcome of the interaction? It may be a major meeting, a conference, or just a simple conversation you're having with your spouse. If you go into it with what's my outcome of this conversation, of this interaction, it's going to create a quicker, smoother result for you. And when you're able to cut out the fluff, the miscellaneous conversation, which the older I get, it's just I can't tolerate just fluff. Let's get to the point. Let's get to the outcome we're looking for. And now let's create strategy to make it happen. And that's what leadership's all about, where it's simply looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, how am I going to plan my week, plan my month, plan my next 5 years of my life? You got to lead yourself. And if you're weak in certain areas of your life, you find the people that can strengthen you and help you get there, whether it's how do I get out of debt? You find someone who's out of debt and how did they do it? How do I become a multimillionaire in real estate? You find someone who's done it already and you learn from them. You have conversations. You humble yourself and realize you don't have to have all the answers. And then you set the goals and you set the action and strategy in place. So you want to lead your ship of life so that your outcome is you can be the best version of yourself that was intended from day one. And you allow that space to grow by surrounding yourself with the right people. In a week, I will be flying back to Florida for DE, which has done that for me in my life. Some of the most amazing conversations I've had in the hallways. A man by the name of Dr. Michael Smatt years ago just grabbed me in the restaurant on the side against the wall and said, hey, what are you doing with your money? How are you investing your money? What are you doing about debt? And I didn't have an honest answer for him. I really didn't know. I was just making money and it was in the bank and I had a couple accounts and he said, look, let's bang out that student loan. And he gave me a system. And within 8 months, I paid off my student loan. Instead of letting it just accrue interest and just making my payments monthly, he taught me how to direct my money, because money's energy, and how to have a system. Because once he put it in my head, it became a target, a goal. And his leadership to have the foresight to look me in the eye and say, what are you doing? Because he's years ahead of me, but he wanted to help me and add value to my life to help me get out of debt with this thing. And then I've had people come in my life who are big real estate investors that we've confided in when we made purchase on buildings and houses and rental properties, that we had fear. We were scared, and they coached us through it. And they said, this is how you handle it. And this is how you walk away from the deal. And then the next day the person's going to call you and say, all right, let's make a deal. Because they were through it. They went through it 20, 30, 40 times. And the more you do and you exercise that muscle of faith and guts, and you have an outcome and you know it's right and it's something you want, you're going to make it happen, and you're going to lead yourself towards the outcome you want to have a better life. Then you're going to be able to lead others to that same outcome, because as years go on, you gain more wisdom. There's people coming up behind us that don't have that wisdom yet until they meet you. And you have a conversation and you lose yourself in service by helping people, teaching them. Whether it's losing weight, getting out of debt, building a practice, raising a successful family, having a solid marriage, having fun in life, traveling the world, kicking ass in life takes multiple layers of leadership in your world to find that weakness, plug it, fill that cup, and get strong so your life will blossom. All you got to do is get around the right people, have regular conversations with them, find the leaky bucket, seal it up, and grow. Stop leaking away your success and build the future that you want. The question is, do you know what that future is you really want?